Hello, Tennos. I just want to say that for old time's sake. I know people have been telling me it's Tenno, not Tennos, but just admit it. You missed it, didn't you? Okay, so I've been gone from Warframe long enough for my goldfish memory of mine to forget most of the mechanics of Warframe. But I do remember the reason why I stopped making Warframe content, and as a content creator for Warframe for about 2 whole years, I feel like I could address some of the issues and or reasons why many content creators stopped and or why the community seems more toxic and sensitive to every single thing DE is doing. I want to try in this video to help everyone understand what is going on from my point of view, so that players do not get the wrong idea of why people are doing the things they do or what is the current state of Warframe. And if you feel any different, let me know down in the comments so that we can talk about it. Alright, don't worry, this is not going to be emotional or anything unless you want to get emotional. I can't really help you there. First, let's talk about one of the leading causes of people stop playing Warframe, which is burnout. Burnout is a very normal, common thing that everyone experiences. Example, remember back then when you were young, you played the slide for the first time and you went like, wee, this is so cool, I'm moving without actually moving. The point I'm getting to is that you no longer feel amused over it. It could be that it's no longer interesting to you because you figured out how it works, or maybe you have played it so many times that you are just numb to the pleasure sensation it brings you and no longer enjoy it as much. Then maybe we move on to something bigger, like a roller coaster. But again, even if you had a lot of fun the first time, you would probably not enjoy it as much if you keep going on the same roller coaster. And these are all some form of burnouts. Now ask yourself, would you recommend it to others if it's good? The answer is probably gonna be yes. Did the roller coaster really turn bad over time? No, even though your experience of it turned bad over time. But I guess unlike a roller coaster, Warframe is constantly changing. DE always tries to do better with new mechanics or content, and you can argue that you like the old mechanics more, but we have to ask ourselves, if we aren't so OG and have never tried the old mechanics in the first place, would our experience of the game be worse or just as fun? And just because you do not like the new mechanics more and you manage to find people that feels the same way, how many exactly is actually against it? You see, one of the problem with voicing out our complaints is that people who are satisfied don't usually cause a scene as much as people who aren't satisfied, which makes it a lot easier to find and take notice. So from a neutral perspective, you see every post that comes up a complaint, which gives you an impression that everyone is unhappy with certain changes, which also influence you to be biased towards the matter because, well, peer pressure. Subconsciously, you'll think that, okay, if everyone is saying that this is bad, then this has to be bad. So in case I wasn't clear, this is the second point. I want people to understand that what you see based on the community doesn't always reflect the actual fact that the game is still really good, and that negative reports are always going to be more than positive ones, because unfortunately there is just not as much motivation to express gratitude than annoyance. Now the third thing is the fact that some people turn toxic towards the game, and this is usually by long-term players or people that was a huge fan of the game. Now as a teacher, I try my best not to have a favorite student, but sometimes we do come across a slightly brighter student and we can feel the potential radiating out of that kid. And sometimes I tend to expect more from that student, and I would be a lot more disappointed if that student did something wrong as to the next student. And this can also be seen in parenting. Sometimes we are harsher because we believe that they would do better. But unlike Warframes and their fans, players can always leave. You are not stuck with the student or the child until they eventually graduate, or I guess if it's your kid, maybe ever. So the player that aren't satisfied and leave would express themselves even though the game has given them years of entertainment, and that last month that they wasn't enjoying it anymore, they lash out before quitting. I want to point out that the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifferent. If you truly not care about something, it wouldn't even cross your mind. Someone that doesn't love Warframe will just leave when they get bored, which makes me feel that maybe some of these players really do love the game a lot, and they are angry that they just can't enjoy it as much as they did. Instead of admitting that they have grown out of the game or that they are just experiencing burnout, they choose to focus on specific things in the game that they disagree on and made it their excuse for not enjoying the game as much. Now, worst part is we tend to try and adapt our way of thinking into others to justify how we feel in order to make ourselves feel more right. So in a weird way, I guess they have to stop loving the game so much. It's a video game. Use it as a tool to fill up your free time. Stop fitting your life into the game and, well, use the game to make your life better and also maybe get a life. The last thing I want to talk about is regarding content creators. I personally do not think that I am a successful content creator, but I do have some very heartwarming followers that is always around to brighten up my day. And just like the student we talked about, I want to meet your expectations, which is why I try to make or find better content and work harder to post daily. I think I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here and making this part about me. Anyways, what I want to say is that content creators, we have people that look up to us. And if we choose to be that guy that embeds negative thoughts about the game to justify why we want to stop playing, you are affecting a lot of people, and they might influence people around them, people that may have never tried Warframe and might not even start because of the things you said. In a way, don't be that adult that tries to convince a kid why a slide is not fun just because you stop having fun with it. Instead, maybe try to connect to the first time you slide down the slide, and then maybe you'll see how much potential fun you could have been robbing someone of just by saying the things you say. Now, I'm not pointing fingers, but I heard that there are a lot of Warframe content creators out there that are actually burnt out but still making content. It is true that it is better for your channel, maybe you just couldn't afford to move away, but forcing yourself may result in you slowly actually hating Warframe, which ultimately causes your opinion to be slightly biased towards how you feel, when not everyone is actually feeling it until you said it, which okay, so if you did not understand every single thing I said, feel free to watch the video again, God knows I need the views, or just head down to the comments and share with me your thoughts or even an essay of why I was wrong. Just make sure that you are being a gentleman about it. Also, although there are some mistakes on DE side, this video is focused more on the player side of things. I still think that DE is trying hard to keep the game going strong. No one should be more worried about Warframe than they themselves. And if you really look at how far they've come, they really did a good job in my opinion. If you feel like this video does not concern you, go ahead and ignore it. But if it is, maybe you can reflect a little bit. And if you are new to Warframe, first of all, welcome to Warframe. Secondly, please experience the game and judge it based on your own experience. Don't adapt to what other people are thinking just because they feel like they know better. So that is all for this video. Like, subscribe, and do the bell thing. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.